What more do you say about Alex Young and what he was able to do as a sophomore last year? He was second in the conference in scoring. He is on first-team all-conference selection last year, and now the junior enters this season, and he's in the argument for preseason player of the year in the Summit League. Alex, we appreciate you joining us. What a year you put together last year. What was that year like when you look back on that sophomore campaign? What are some of the things that you think about, you recollect on?
You know, I learned a lot last year. You know, just being a freshman, it was tough for me to transition. I just wanted to, you know, carry over everything I learned from last year on to this year and help my team, you know, as much as I could. And, you know, it ended up paying off for me, like, personally, but we got to the conference championship and we fell a little short. But, I mean, that's where we're back, you know, and that's all I'm worried about. What
were some of the things you worked on this summer? Huge jump from your freshman to sophomore year, and in Ron Hunter's program, we've seen a lot of guys do that. I don't think many of them have had the jump that you did. Now everyone wants to know, how do you get better? What have you worked on?
I mean, you can always get better. I mean, that's how I feel. And personally, what I worked on is just getting my teammates better involved, you know, just not trying to carry the whole workload, just being a better team player, you know, both offensively and defensively, just being a leader this year.
Now, you mentioned defense, and I want to get back to that offense as well. But on defense, you play such a critical role. You'll play on the wing or oftentimes at the point on that trapping defense for Coach Hunter. Now, it's a delicate balance. How do you balance being aggressive but having to avoid some early foul trouble this year?
You just got to concentrate, just use your length. You know, with me, I just try to use my length and not do anything I'm not accustomed to. So just sticking with the scouting report into the game plan is the key.
And what was it like for you towards the end of the year handling the basketball as the point guard?
You know, I enjoyed it. I actually played point guard in my younger days, so I was excited to get back to that. But, you know, I just want to get better all around, you know, and if that means handling the ball to make my team better, then that's what I'll do.
You mentioned your younger days. You are an Indiana high school all-stater. You were the public school, Indianapolis City School Player of the Year. How did you end up at IUPUI?
I don't know. People always say you were like a late bloomer, you know, because I just kind of came out of nowhere after my junior year, so not many colleges were recruiting me. So, but, I mean, I liked what IUPUI was about, and it was close to home, so I just went with it.
And what's it like in the summer? Now, you play in an NBA city. You play around some NBA players in the summertime. Who are some of the guys you played against, and what's that experience like?
It's crazy. I've played against so many people that's just like, you know, that's established pretty much. A couple NBA players, like I used to play outside with Rodney Carney a lot. Jeff Teague used to go to Pike, and I played with Deontay Vaughn, you know, just a lot of Indianapolis kids that can really play. So that's definitely got me better and ready for the competition, the next level.
As you were growing up, was there anyone you looked up to? Is there anyone that you have molded your game after?
Well, I'm a Jordan fan, you know. Everybody wants to be like Jordan, but, you know, I just took bits and pieces. You know, my older brother's an inspiration to me. He was a good player, and I just learn of the game I'll take from anyone, you know, that can benefit me. So
when people look at IUPUIJags.com, and when they head to the basketball page, we show highlights of the games. And each game, there's a dunk. And you throw it down, and you go right through traffic, and people get out of your way. When was the first time you dunked, and what's it like when you take off and you put that left hand way in the air and you just throw it down?
Oh, I can date back to when I was just trying to get above the rim, you know what I'm saying? So my freshman year, I missed a lot of dunks, and my teammates used to get on me about it, and it upset me. So I'm like, if I get the opportunity, I want to make sure I hit it, and just to hear the crowd just roar after is just exciting. You know, I love to play the game, so I show it.
Now, when you miss dunks, back iron or just not getting up over the front of the rim?
It's usually back iron. I try to throw it in, you know, and I just got to remember just to slow up a little bit.
I'm trying to remember.
Try to break my arm.
That's right. And when you mentioned that, I think back to the tournament you played in last year in Daytona Beach in overtime against, I believe it was Georgia State. You went baseline, and you threw one down, and you were fouled, and you landed awkwardly on your hand. But then I can remember the dunks against Oakland, the way you attack against Oral Roberts. Is there any one dunk that stands out to you in your short college career?
I really liked the one against Oakland just because it meant a lot just at that time in the game. But I can date back at Western Illinois. I think that was probably one of my favorite, just because I went baseline through the lane, and that's just, I don't know. That's one of the ones that sticks out to me. But all the ones in the jungle, was pretty exciting for me. So,
what are the expectations for the team this year?
Well, we want to get conference. We want to win conference, really regular season too, and and the tournament. That's first and foremost. And for me, I just would like to help my team out as much as I can, whether that's averaging 7+ rebounds or 20+ points. Whatever I got to do, I'm for it.
Alex Young, how about the stories? He can go baseline, throw it down, step behind the arc. He's an excellent shooter, and he's a junior, and he's one of the leaders on this year's IUPUI team. You can see him and all his teammates on IUPUIJags.com. Alex, we appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Best of luck. We're going to look forward to watching you playing
Thank
this
you.
season. Alex Young, IUPUIJags.com.